All right, guys, welcome to another Advanced Refrigeration podcast training on the E2 controller. Today, we're going to be going over the send-to function and how to set up log groups for multiple points at once. So first things first, what you're going to do is log into the controller. We're already logged in, and make sure you're logged in with a level 4 password. We're going to go to edit application on any input we're going to do. So if you look, I checked in the hardware AI. There's one for DOs or DIs. So I with the hardware AI, hit edit application. Go over to outputs. See how this has this little log graph here? If it doesn't, the logging's not set up for it. So I'll show you how to set up the logging real quick. So you're going to click on this point. You're going to go up here to this wrench. You're going to click this enable log. You're going to choose what log group you want. So I made this new log group. I'm going to hit apply. It said data send successful. Hit OK. Hit apply. Guess I'll hit OK right now because my little record cursor is right there. Then we're going to go back into it. Hit edit application. Going to go to outputs. Click it again. Click the wrench. Now we're going to use this send-to function. This send-to function will send multiple set points to multiple things. So we're going to use log cell ID. Hit OK. Okay, now you can click all these. So I'll click all the AIs, all the DIs. You can go through. Don't ever click everything. If you click everything, then you're going to have issues. Now, for me, I don't have much on this controller, so I can pretty much click everything. But if you go down, just for example, these XM controllers, look how many things are in there. So there's like 15 or 20 things. On the new ones, there's like 25 things. So if you click that in every controller, that's a lot of stuff. So if you go to standard circuits, you could expand all these and click who you want. Obviously, you don't need all these. You don't need combined hard alarm set point, fails. You don't need to graph the EPR fail percentage. You want peak defrost temp and stuff like that. So you click all these, what you want. It'll take you like 10 minutes to go through the whole controller. Hit OK. So now it's sending all the logging to all these sensors. You got to pay attention. If this errors out, you may have to do it again. The other thing is if it errors out because you have too much logging going on, meaning you overload the log group, it's going to mess it up. So just pay attention to how you have it. You may have to take the log group down time-wise or days down. So, okay, so it went through. We're going to hit apply. Data send successful. Hit OK. Okay, now if we go to any of these, so we'll go to OA temp, edit application, output. So see now how the logging's set up? Now it's set up for all of them. So it knocked them all out at once. So instead of having to set the logging up on each additional point, now you can do them all at once. Like I said, just don't click everything and be very careful with it. Now I'm going to show you guys how to edit the log group. So if we go to the new log, hit edit application. First things first, okay, so log duration is 2.08 from the factory at 3 minutes. So 2.8 days at 3 minutes. It's not crap for logging. So if you go through here, and you go to input output status, see this estimated percentage used? We're using 72% of the log, and we were logging 55 points. Available, we have 55 points left. We're logging 321 points. So if we take this, and I'll usually try to go to 14 days, and hit apply, and I'll hit apply. See data send failed down here. Okay, we'll go down to 7 days. See if it'll let me do 7 days. So we overloaded it. Data send failed. I already have a lot of logging set up on this for the base log. So we'll go 4 days, see if it lets us. Okay, so it let me do 4 days. So if we go back here, Now we're at 4 days. In here, you could change your log interval. So what I generally do is I set the digital points up and the relay output points to be 30 seconds for 3 or 4 days. And I will do analog points for 2 to 3 minutes for like 14 days. Obviously, we want to catch the digital points faster because they update faster. And we want to catch the analog points first. So I will generally do this in 2 steps when I set up the logging. I'll do all the analog points first in analog log group, and I'll do all the digital points at once. So I'll go to digital ins, digital outs. I'll come down here, edit application. So I already set the logging up. I did them all. So this one doesn't have the logging set up. So I'll come down here, enable logging. I'll set this to new log, hit apply, hit OK. So now that log is there, hit apply, hit the send to function, log cell ID. And then I'll choose like all my DIs, all my DOs. Hit OK. So let's set them all up, hit apply, hit OK, hit OK. Now all your logging is set up for your DOs. So that's how you set up all your logging at once. Like I said, you may have to play around it a little bit. If you overload it, it is not going to work. It's a little testy at times. So just give it a couple tries. Now we're going to go over the send to function. So you could use that send to function for multiple things. So say I use this a lot for the XM controllers. So we'll go to this XM case, for example. Okay, under the valve settings. So say I want to make this, where is it? Regulation. These are older valves. With the XM controllers, it only works if you have them online, it seems like. So it's not going to let me do it on this one. So case set point. Okay, so down here, I can send to. So I could send it to anything on this group. So I'm looking down here for set point. So case set point. Okay. So that's going to send it to all of them. So if we go to valve and we go to HRTR, send to, select groups. I don't have a lot of XM controllers set up in here, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it on the circuit screen. So if we go to standard circuits, so edit application, say I wanted my set point for this case, I want to do a send to, and we'll find case set point. Okay, these are all the other standard circuits. So I click these all. Hit OK. That just sent all those set points to there. So say I wanted to hit send to on this. Say I wanted to do all of these the same. So if you hit Control and just click them, hit OK, hit OK. It's going to send all those set points there. Where this is super nice is on the Dixel controllers. So like say I'm doing all the Dixel controllers, I will set up one. Like I said, this is kind of a pain because if these things are online and you aren't live connected to one, I don't have one hooked up to my E2. It's kind of a pain. Okay, so for example, this one's going to let me do it. This is a newer firmware version. So say I have, I'm using my max valve percentage. Say I want to send 2. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find my max valve percentage. You can see like you have all these set points, max valve percentage. See, and I want to do my max superheat, modulating TR, fan off time, probe A, probe B, low superheat probe, pressure mode. So probe 1 config. So you want to go through and do all these. Say you set up one controller. Okay. Superheat TR. Say I do, let's set up this one controller. Hit OK. Okay. I only have one of them set up right now. Hit OK. Now it's going to send that to all of them. So you could essentially set up one case controller. Okay. And then set up all the case controllers. Then you just have to go through and rename them and address them. Now all your set points will be the same. So meaning like obviously it's going to overwrite the case set point when you associate it with a case control circuit. But after you set it up, you could use that send to function to send all your set points. So like I generally make all my PID settings the same. I generally make all my regulation settings the same. 90% of the time, if your valve settings are all the same, like if they're all 2,500 steps, you can make that all the same. If your probe settings are all the same, you can make that the same. It just makes setting up the controller for the XMs a lot easier, especially if you have a site with like 60 of them. To go through and program all 60 takes forever. It would take a day and a half. Well, with the send to function, you could set up, 20 at the same time. And then say you got to go back in here, go to edit application and name this A01A. Now, okay, that's all you got to do and assign it Modbus 1 and device address. Then you're done. Okay. And then all your inputs and outputs will be set up. And then by the, when you associate it. So if you were to click down here and you went to case control circuits, which I do not have set up. That'll be another video. I'll show you guys how to associate the case control circuits. But you can go in there and then once you associate the case control circuit, it's going to overwrite all your temp set points, your offline set points, your defrost, all that stuff is going to be controlled by the case control circuit. But that is how you use the send to function in UltraSite and the multiple logging setup using the send to function. All right, guys, thanks for watching.